My favorite thing ever was when the Blackout Tour really turned into like, this is a ecstasy murder party, and the Roseland Ballroom like shut down, like canceled the event or whatever. And at the time, I think it was Greg Kelly. Somebody Kelly was the police commissioner, and he had to do like a press conference, and they were like, "Do you think that your like security task force is like capable of handling this?" And he was like, "Of handling the dance party?" Yeah,
I remember 9/11, right?
I think we can do that. I think we'll be good. And then they would show footage. They were like the news would be like, look at like the carnage that ensues, and it was like somebody knocked over like one of the barricades outside. It was like, or like one person hopped over a barricade. That was it. It was crazy.
Dude, they didn't serve alcohol.
We had to smuggle our own into the green room.
I remember smuggling it in with Caitlin at the time. She had nips all over her outfit and everything.
Dude,
I think she had nips down her shoulder.
that place has had like insane clown posse to like the Rolling Stones there. And they were like, yeah, we've never had a show
handle
where
this.
We couldn't serve alcohol before.
The
but
Rolling
we're doing it
Stones
tonight.
showed up with the Hell's Angels as their security guards, and they were like, yeah, we'll have a party here.
Dude, that's that. I don't know that. I was talking with Dave about KO Barstool in general too. Like, we never were the renegade pirate ship until they started coming after us. And I don't know if the Blackout Tour, it probably in the long run did harm, because like it just eventually we had to stop. But I think at some point it was a good thing, because people were like, yo, we got to check this out. And then when it was just like an EDM party, I'm sure they were like, whatever, it sold tickets. Like, I mean, it was crazy, but it wasn't like dangerous the way
There were also, like John remembers, there were also so many other moments that if Dave were around,
Oh, man.
that they could have, I mean, he would have just, it would have just fueled the fire. Like, we were in South Carolina one time, and Bible thumpers were protesting us, calling us like the Satan party, and like, do you remember that?
Not really.
I mean, bro, it really
News
was
out. It was like church people, and that like kind of sucked, because it wasn't like little like feminist weirdos. It was like people. You're like, yeah, it's kind of like my aunt, like over there.
I mean, it was not like dangerous, but it was wild. I mean, it was a wild party. It was like, it was people getting jerked off in the foam, and were out, girls shaking their ass on stage. And it was really like the last one. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure EDC and Ultra and all that shit, like the big ones are still doing it, but
Please, they went corporate. We never went corporate.
Yeah, I was gonna say we stayed pretty fucking grimy. Dante shot people in the face.
I always, not always, but it crosses my mind pretty often. Like, what if somebody tried to do that today? And it just wouldn't. It would never be possible.
If you watch just the hype videos that we made,
it would never be possible.
You couldn't even post the trailer.
I know.
The sizzle. I mean, they were. I remember looking back at it and I was like,
Dude,
damn, I need a minute alone.
We were doing like at like the XL Center in at UConn.
Yeah.
Which was where I later that night bedded a woman who was the first person to ever call me daddy.
She was the first person to call anybody daddy.
I was like, what the fuck was that all about?
The first one, bro.
You gotta watch that, sweetheart.
Have you ever heard of anybody prior to that saying daddy?
Dude,
that was what,
it was like
2011?
Yeah.
No chicks were calling anybody daddy in 2011.
Daddy. I was like, chill out, Alexander Cooper. I remember we did the XL Center, and I remember like I was sitting with Dave before that, and it wasn't like an active thing, but I just felt the energy in the room where I was like, we are both praying somebody doesn't die tonight.
Yeah.
Like almost like, you ever seen like the backstage Beyonce that everyone holding hands and praying?
It
wasn't the active
thing
show because we were interfaith, but it was just like, I hope someone doesn't drown in foam tonight. Like, I just really hope it doesn't happen.
The story about the foam guy just blasting people like in their mouth.
Do you remember when they would Zamboni? I remember in Delaware watching them Zamboni it up and just waiting for it to run over a body. Because it was so like deep. I was like, there's got to be a body in there.
I mean, there was piss, there was cum. Like that foam had it all, man.
I remember when we were wrapping up year 4, which is mind-boggling. Yeah, we did that thing for 4 years.
4 years.
We were wrapping up in Myrtle Beach, and I remember we were all like joking around but serious. Like, can you guys believe no one ever at any of these shows. We were like, it's fucking dead serious.
We like realistically, like for 4 years of a chaotic, crazy party, like what, 3 injuries? Like someone broke a leg, and that was like some shit. Like I don't know, man. If I went to a venue and I slipped. I wouldn't fucking sue the place for breaking my leg. If I slipped.
That's
I don't know,
shitty luck.
Like, what happened?
I probably would sue if the DJ shot me in the face with a cork. Probably would do that.
Fucking Dave, maddest Dave.
I'm sure. Honestly,
Like, Dave,
as much as you...
Do you think we should get that insurance Mr. Feidelberg suggested? Fuck insurance? Fuck do we need insurance for? Don't shoot people in the face with confetti blasters. Like,
that probably
okay.
Unfortunately sealed your like relationship with Dave. It was just always going to be that way after that.
Dude, I remember the whole first like 2 years being like, hey man, this thing's like starting to make some money. Can I start getting paid? Dude, do you know how in the red I am? As soon as I'm in the black, I'll take care of you. I promise. Okay, year 3. We're selling like 8,000 tickets to a show.
I was gonna say he was making like $250,000 a night at one point.
I'm advancing these shows. I know what the numbers are. Can I start getting paid now? Yeah, when I stop getting lawsuits for you shooting kids in the face, blah blah. He just always had something.
Yeah. Like, yo, you also because there was the big. I could put anybody in there. You know, anybody can just press play. And I will say 2 things. One, that I think it was probably the original. I don't know what number. Maybe it was 1. Maybe it was like 10. The original like Dante mega mix with the all we do is fucking party like blend was legendary. And it might have been a mistake, but when you were blacked out at Mad River Philly and you played Mincy's in Paris 8 times in a row, and like the next day, Kanye did that at the Watch the Throne tour. They played it like 10 times in a row, and I was like, Dante did that last night. My
Dave
favorite
was
thing
pissed about it, and then
he
Jay-Z
was so
was
mad.
like, "I'm gonna do that."
Bro, that night we were at Mad River Philly, and Dave was like, it's on. He played it again. It's on again. Like, we just heard this 3 times. You played it again. And you were on that night. I think you were just ripping Patron like nonstop.
That place was a black hole.
Oh man,
I meet people from Philly all the time, and we'll just be like, "Hey, you ever fucking go to Mad River and Maniac?" Oh my god, like.
Yeah, everybody
has
there's a Mad
stories.
River in New York as well, and it's
but
like
no place has stories like that place.
Yeah, I mean that was so funny though.
And they're like, "Wait, did you ever play there?" I'm like, "Yeah, we did like a blackout show there when we weren't really."
Dude, and then we had
Blackout
those
Tour?
the Villanova Smokes were there, Casey
Yeah.
McDonald and that her blonde friend who were like the most gorgeous girls the world had ever seen at that point. It was like pre-Instagram, and it was just like there are normal girls who look like this.
And those guys were, to their credit, they were like so on the Barstool train before
yeah, big time.
we were anything.
Big time.
They took such good care of us.
Mm-hmm.
We threw the best parties there. But yeah, I remember Dave was so pissed.
Like I could pay anyone to do this, but then like
It was the best party ever, and all he was focused on was like, "You're so fucked up. You play the same song like 10 times." Oh,
that week. I swear to God, it was like every
DJ
at
ever.
MSG.
like
did
every
it
blog. It was like Hot New Hip Hop and Dad Piff. All these websites be like, Kanye played it 8 times in a row. It was the coolest move ever.
That was so great.
Fucking trendsetter.